The late 70s were a fascinating era for cars, and the 1978 Ford Fairmont is no exception. Imagine this, the debut of a car that ended up being Ford's top seller in its first year. Not bad for a car that many people nowadays have never even heard of. Let's talk engine. Under the hood, the Fairmont came with a variety of engines, but the most popular was the 3.3-liter inline-six. By no means a speed demon, it produced a modest 85 horsepower. Yes, you heard right, 85. Quite tame by today's standards, and honestly, even by the standards of the time. There was also the option of a 302 cubic inch V8, which offered a bit more grunt at 140 horsepower. Still, even with the V8, this wasn't exactly a car for drag racing. In terms of performance, you're looking at a 0 to 60 time that hovers around 13 seconds with the inline-six, and just a bit quicker with the V8. Handling? Let's just say it was suited for a leisurely Sunday drive rather than a jaunt on a winding road. So if it wasn't about raw power or blistering speed, what made the Fairmont special? Simply put, it was all about practicality and adaptability. This was a car built on Ford's new Fox platform, which would go on to underpin a range of models, including the famous Mustang. That modularity meant the Fairmont was available as a sedan, coupe, wagon, and even a Futura fastback. A car for every taste, if you will. Now, reliability and affordability were its strong points. It was easy to service, parts were cheap and plentiful, and it offered decent fuel economy at a time when the oil crisis had everyone thinking about miles per gallon. But let's not shy away from the downers. The interior, well, calling it no frills would be generous. The seats were basic, the materials used were a bit lackluster, and overall build quality left something to be desired. Rust was a common enemy, especially in regions that experienced harsh winters. Culturally, the Fairmont holds an interesting spot. It represented a shift for Ford, a move towards more fuel-efficient, modular designs that could adapt to changing consumer needs. Although it may not evoke the same nostalgia as a classic Mustang or Thunderbird, it paved the way for some significant advances in automotive design. One quirky bit of trivia: the Ford Fairmont was one of the stars in the Bond film A View to a Kill. Okay, maybe calling it a star is stretching it, but it did make an appearance, showing even James Bond couldn't entirely resist its practical charm. So there you have it, the 1978 Ford Fairmont. A car that won't turn heads for its speed or luxury, but deserves a nod for its practicality and the role it played in Ford's evolution during a challenging time in automotive history. If you appreciate a car for what it represents in the grand tapestry of automotive lore, the Fairmont is worth a second look, quirks and all.